You have questions?
What is slashing?
We have answers.
Slashing is, like that, you know?
Mm-hmm. And, there's a penalty for that?
Yeah. You do that, you go to the box, 2 minutes by yourself, and you feel shame, and then you get free.
This is CBJ in 30.
Anything you folks want to know about the fascinating world of pro hockey, here we go.
Tweet your questions by using the hashtag CBJIN30.
We'd like to remind you folks, keep your questions within the boundaries of good taste.
Here's your host, Bob McElligott.
Welcome to a game day edition of CBJ in 30. Tonight, the Blue Jackets taking on the Anaheim Ducks here at Nationwide Arena. Back at home after sweeping 3 games in Western Canada. Yeah, that already seems like a long time ago, believe it or not. But the Blue Jackets ready for the challenge here tonight, I am sure, taking on one of the top teams in the NHL. The Anaheim Ducks come into this game tied with the New York Rangers and the Montreal Canadiens with 99 points. That means that all 3 of those teams are vying for the President's Trophy this year in the NHL. One of them may get it. Or could it be somebody else getting it? Nah, probably be one of those 3. We shall see. But anyway, the Ducks are here, and they come into this game after losing a game big time to the New York Rangers a couple of days ago. 7-2 was the final in that one. So you've got an Anaheim team that tonight is going to be very motivated for a couple of reasons. That is number one. They just lost to the Rangers. And anytime you get pounded, and especially on the road, you get pounded like that, you want to get right back on the horse, and you want to prove that that was just a blip on the radar screen. You want to get back to playing good hockey, and that's why the Ducks will be motivated to do that tonight. That'll be one of the reasons. And I think that's easier to do when you're on the road, too, because when you're at home, if you lose, and even if you lose big, well, you're just, you go back home, you have other distractions. When you're on the road, there's nothing else to think about. Those losses eat away at you for 2 days while you're waiting for that next game. You can't wait to get in there and play again. Simple as that. You're around your teammates all the time, whether you're practicing, whether you're going to dinner, whatever the case is. Everybody's got the same thing on their mind, how they lost that previous game. So it's even more bothersome on the road than it is at home in some cases. And I would expect that to be the case for a Ducks team that is one of the best in the league. They will be agitated by that. They will be ready to play tonight. Also, it's the return of James Wisniewski here to Nationwide Arena since he was traded on March the 2nd to the Ducks from the Blue Jackets. And we talk about it all the time. Head coach Todd Richards loves to talk about how when you're playing against the team that traded you, you have a lot of motivation, and your teammates have a lot of motivation to make things go your way on that particular day. So the Ducks have all of that going in their favor tonight against the Blue Jackets. Now, what do the Blue Jackets have? Well, they have the confidence of winning those 3 games in Edmonton, Vancouver, and Calgary. They have Boone Jenner in the lineup for a second straight game. You haven't been able to say that much this year. And he's going to go on the top line because the guy that carried them on Saturday in Calgary, unfortunately, Rennie Bourque, is out of this game tonight with an upper body injury. So he's gone. Jenner goes back onto the top line. Also, Alexander Wenberg can't play because of that infected cut in his hand. Brandon Dubinsky remains out with an upper body injury as well tonight. So William Karlsson has been called up from Springfield of the American Hockey League. And William Karlsson is a guy that is in the same position, essentially, as James Wisniewski is. And that's a guy that was involved in that trade. He came from the Ducks to the Blue Jackets as part of the Wisniewski trade. And he is going to get his first chance to skate as a Blue Jacket here tonight. And it should be a very exciting time for him to take on his old team and see what he can do against them. He's a young guy. He's looking to make his mark, and he gets that opportunity really here tonight. Not the first time he's played in the National Hockey League by any means. He's played 18 games with the Ducks, and he had 2 goals and an assist in those 18 games, but he has spent the bulk of his North American career in the minor leagues. 37 games earlier this year with the Norfolk Admirals in the American Hockey League, and then 8 games in Springfield since being traded here. His numbers in Springfield, not impressive. No goals, no assists, and a -8. but that's a team also that is struggling with all of the injuries and call-ups that the Blue Jackets have had. So take that a little bit with a grain of salt. He did have 2 goals and an assist, I think I said that, with the Ducks in his tenure. So he gets an opportunity to go in tonight and play on a pretty good line. He's going to play in between Scott Hartnell and Marco Dano in Alexander Wenberg's spot, if you will. So he gets a pretty good chance. The former second-round draft pick of the Anaheim Ducks, and he was taken in 2011, by the way. So this young Swede will get a chance tonight to work with Marco Dano, just as the other young Swede, Alexander Wenberg, has been doing for the last couple of weeks. And then you've got the veteran Scott Hartnell on the other side, really to calm things down and try to get the most out of those 2 guys. And Hartnell and Dano already have that great chemistry going, so I don't think that's going to be I don't think that's going to be much of a problem tonight. And it takes Nick Foligno out of the middle, allows them to put him back on the wing with Artem Anisimov, which he will stand in and take the face-offs because Anisimov still is not taking face-offs. But Foligno can play on that wing with Jeremy Morin. That'll give them the opportunity to create something there. You've got Jenner, Johansson, and Atkinson playing together, and then you have Trop and Letestu and Jared Bull. I asked Todd Richards just a little bit ago. I said, are you to the point where, kind of like he's been here in the past, and he was like this last year, but last year the 4th line was included. I wouldn't include the 4th line this year. I would include the top 3 lines. And I said to him, are you at a point where in your mind there's really not a 1, 2, and 3? It's just equal. And he said, yeah, he feels like that right now with those lines. And it is about rolling 4 lines, so you need to get the Letestu line out there, and they need to produce more. They've started to do that here in the last couple of games, so hopefully that continues tonight against the Anaheim Ducks. Defense stays the same tonight, and Sergei Bobrovsky is going to make the starting goal for the Blue Jackets. So everything else remains status quo, but Rennie Bork can't play tonight. That is a loss. It really is. And again, he got traded from the Ducks too. So it would have been nice to have him in the lineup here tonight, especially after the way he performed in the game on Saturday in Calgary. But alas, it is not to be. What else did Todd tell me? It seems like as soon as you start playing well on this team this year, you become injured. And that's, unfortunately, there's a lot of truth to that statement. So that's what the Blue Jackets look like going into this game tonight against the Anaheim Ducks. They're going to be facing that great 1-2 punch of Ryan Getzlaf and Corey Perry. These guys, they're always great. You know, they always bring it. They have a lot of grit. I was just talking with Jody Shelley, and he compared them to the Sedins in Vancouver. I said, yeah, but these guys they're way meaner than the Sedins. The Sedins will take advantage of you, but almost in a quiet, in a nice way. Not these guys. They will just run right over you. Simple as that. So we'll see what happens. See what happens here tonight with the Blue Jackets and the Anaheim Ducks. Ducks in the midst of a 5-game road trip, by the way. They had a 4-game winning streak until that game that they lost on Sunday to the Rangers. They've also won 11 out of their last 16 games coming into this one. So you talk about a team that has been playing red hot. That has been them. There's no question about that. So we'll see what they bring tonight. I was talking about Getzlaf and Perry. When you look at the top point getters, it's those 2 guys. Getzlaf has 66. Perry's got 50 on the year. Corey Perry with 31 goals and Ryan Getzlaf with 23. You know, one is the yin to the other one's yang. That's just how they are. They've played together for so long. They know what's going on. They find a way to get it done. You've got to watch out for them. But it's not just those guys. I mean, they're going to bring you plenty of guys that are going to give you fits. I don't think there's any doubt about that. You better be on your A game and ready to play tonight when you play against the Anaheim Ducks. So, again, we'll see what happens here tonight as the Blue Jackets are looking for another victory. See if they can get it at home tonight, which has been a huge problem for them. They're over 500 on the road. They're way under 500 at home. It's just kind of it just adds to the whole weirdness of this season for the Blue Jackets. And weirdness, I don't know, is that even the right, that is the right word for me. I don't know if it's really a word, but it's just been weird all year long. So that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. The Ducks have been in control of the Pacific Division pretty much throughout the entire year. So for them, making the playoffs has never been an issue. They know they're going to be there. They're trying to get the top spot. They would like to get that. Or would you like to get that? I've tried to figure that out for years. I mean, is winning the President's Trophy a privilege an honor. I guess it's all of that. But is it a curse? Is it a kiss of death? Because how tough is it to win the President's Trophy and then go on through and win the Stanley Cup? And that's the one that everybody remembers anyway. How many people remember, oh, you know what? Well, they were the President's Trophy winner. Do you remember that by not looking it up? Just off the top of your head, can you tell me who was the President's Trophy winner last year, the year before, and 2 years before that? Probably not. Probably not. It does give you the number one seed all the way through. You're looking for home ice the whole way through. If you want that and you're the President's Trophy winner, you got it. But it seems like it's so hard to win both. So hard to be the best during the regular season and then be the best during the playoffs as well. So it is a tough, tough road to hoe. But everybody wants it because you want to be the best. It's very simple as that. So the Anaheim Ducks, they've been in control of the Pacific. Vancouver's second. It's been by a bunch. I'll tell you in a minute here. And, you know, whoever the third place team has been distant. Simple as that. Now, the third place team, it's been Calgary and Los Angeles in the last couple of days. Kind of a seesaw between those two. They both played last night. Los Angeles on the road in New Jersey, and the Kings scored a victory, 3-1 over the New Jersey Devils last night. So that put them in a great position to reclaim third place in the Pacific Division, get themselves back into the playoffs. However, Calgary Flames also played last night, and for the Flames, they were able to hang on and win 3-2 at home over the Colorado Avalanche. So everything stays unchanged there. Something changed in the East with the Boston Bruins having the night off and the Ottawa Senators playing. Ottawa beat up on the San Jose Sharks. Final score in the game was 5-2. It was 2-1 San Jose after 2 periods. 2-1 San Jose after 2 periods. 4 times the Ottawa Senators scored in the third period at home to win that game last night. So that was a huge, huge victory for the Ottawa Senators. Puts them in the playoff picture. Other games last night, Minnesota a 2-1 winner over Toronto. Carolina fell to the Chicago Blackhawks, rather. 3-1 the final there. Dallas outlasted Buffalo 4-3. And the Winnipeg Jets with an easy 4-1 win over the Edmonton Oilers. So what does that make the standings look like today? All right, let's start in the East. Metropolitan Division, New York Rangers 99 points. New York Islanders 92. Pittsburgh Penguins have 90. Over in the Atlantic Division, Montreal has 99 points. Tampa's got 97. And Detroit has 89. The wild card teams right now are Washington and Ottawa. Washington with 88 points. They're only 2 points behind a guaranteed playoff spot to catch Pittsburgh for that. And then the Ottawa Senators bypassing the Boston Bruins by 1 point, 85-84 in the point totals. Here's the other thing about it. The Senators have played 72 games. The Bruins have played 73 games. So the Senators have that all-important game in hand on the Boston Bruins. Very interesting. And that'll be certainly something to watch. Those two teams going down to the wire in the Eastern Conference. Over in the West, in the Central Division, they continue to have 5 of the 8 teams in the playoffs right now. St. Louis, top of the division with 97 points. Nashville's got 96. Chicago's got 94. Then in the Pacific, the Ducks told you, they've got 99 points, 11 better than Vancouver and 13 better than the Calgary Flames. Now, the wild card teams are the Minnesota Wild with 89 points. They're not going to catch Chicago. They're not going to get the 5 points they need to catch Chicago and get into one of those top 3 positions in the Central. So they're going to be concentrating on holding on to their wild card spot. And the Winnipeg Jets are sitting there with 88 points, and that has them in a wild card position as well. Now, the Los Angeles Kings on the outside looking in, but they're only 2 points out, and they don't go into a wild card spot. They go into the third place spot in the Pacific Division if they can pick up a victory. And they do have a game in hand on the Calgary Flames. They've got 84 points. Calgary's got 86. Dallas has 80. Dallas being in the Central would have to get one of those playoff spots. They're 8 points. That's pretty much, look at the Kings. The Kings and the Flames, and even, to an extent, the Vancouver Canucks, who are in second place and only 4 points ahead of the Los Angeles Kings. All of those teams are the ones that are really the ones to watch, because that's where any change is going to take place in the Western Conference standings. Now, the games that are being played tonight, in addition to this one, St. Louis is at Pittsburgh. The Minnesota Wild is on the ice again, playing against the New York Islanders. I guess Devin Dubnyk starts for the 30-something time tonight. I would assume he's started them all. This guy went from, I'm telling you, he went from who is that to how do you do without this guy? Unbelievable what's happened with Devin Dubnyk. Just crazy what has happened in his career. You know, he couldn't cut it in Edmonton. He was shipped around, then he was in Arizona earlier, winds up in Minnesota. He's in Arizona kind of backing up Mike Smith when he was struggling. Dubnyk was playing. But then he winds up in Minnesota, and now he's the star of the show every day. Every day. He's got to be loving life, that guy. Anyway, the Wild on the island tonight to take on the New York Islanders. The Kings are playing at Madison Square Garden against the Rangers this evening in a back-to-back. Arizona is at Detroit tonight. Tampa playing host to the Florida Panthers. That'll be a big game for the Tampa Bay Lightning because they're 2 points behind the Montreal Canadiens, and the Canadiens are playing tonight at Nashville. Huge game for the Nashville Predators. A home game, one that they got to find a way to win. And the Winnipeg Jets are playing again tonight. They are going to be in Vancouver to take on the Canucks. So some really interesting matchups in the NHL going into the night. When you look around it, there's some great games, quite frankly. Some really, really good games. And it's fun to watch the jockeying of position at this time of the year. It's unfortunate that the Blue Jackets aren't part of this jockeying right now. It really is. But I think as you see Boone Jenner come back and, Dubinsky's out right now, but he's skating. I think hopefully he's going to be back. I hope he's going to be back by the weekend. I don't know that. I know nothing about that, if he will be or not. But, once you get him back and you've got Jenner back and you've got, Bobrovsky has been back and Anisimov has been back, you're finally getting the bodies back into the lineup that you expected to have in the lineup from the very start of the season. And what a difference it makes. The 3 games in Canada, you were outshot, you were outchanced, you were out-power played, you were outplayed at points. But they were able to get it done, able to get through it, able to find a way. That was a trademark of this team the last 2 years. Able to find a way. And yet, they haven't been able to do that throughout the course of this year. But again, the personnel has been so varied. It's been so changed. Day in and day out. It's like, somebody different. And even tonight, again, Randy Bork won't play. Davinsky's not playing. Wenberg's not playing. Opportunities and chances is what there are here if you're a Columbus Blue Jacket going down the stretch. Opportunities and chances to make a good impression for the future. Dennis Kelly has chimed in on Twitter to me today with the returns of Wisniewski and Jenner. Any chance that you and Jody Shelley can sing Welcome Back Kotter tonight during pregame? Probably not. Probably not. Good question, though. I think Jody and I work well together. I just don't know if we harmonize well together. And yeah, it's a good suggestion. It's a good suggestion. It's a good song, right? It sticks in your head. I remember when I was a kid and that show was on, and it probably, I don't know if I was watching it in prime time or once it started in syndication. Anyway, my dad loved that show. Loved it. And I at first didn't get it. I guess it was prime time when I first started to watch it. I just didn't get it at first. I didn't understand why he thought it was so funny. I thought that Gabe Kaplan's sense of humor, it was the very dry sense of humor. But he'd always try to be funny and tell the jokes, and I just didn't. Maybe I didn't understand the jokes or see them as being as funny at the time. I go back and watch the show now, and it's great. The vice principal was great, and I can't remember his name right now, but you know what? Welcome Back, Kotter. When that show was in its prime, that was very simply, I remember going to school, and if you wanted to insult somebody, wanted to insult them, what did you do? Up your nose with a rubber hose. The old Vinnie Barbarino. John Travolta made his mark. But was there anybody that was more recognizable than Arnold Horshack? Really? Hello, I'm Arnold Horseshank. Of course, he's most famous for trying to answer questions in class, right? Oh. Yeah, that. And you cannot forget all the notes from Epstein's mother that Juan Epstein, of course, wrote himself. Or Freddie Boom Boom Washington, for that matter. Favorite thing about Freddie was he always had that high-pitched voice. And then when the girls came around, hi there. It's a great show. Great reference, Dennis. We're not going to sing it. Not going to. It just wouldn't be, it just wouldn't go over well. I feel confident in saying that. But I appreciate you at least thinking, I'm assuming you're thinking that it would be potentially good, but it really wouldn't. So we won't do that tonight. But we will call the game for you tonight. Blue Jackets and the Anaheim Ducks as the Blue Jackets look to win at home. This is a quick stopover, by the way. I mean, the Blue Jackets have been winning games on the road, been playing so well on the road, and this is just a brief stop-in. It's right back out of here on Thursday to travel to Chicago to play a game there on Friday and then go to St. Louis and play on Saturday. So this is kind of rare. This is not kind of get dug in at home and get comfortable. Nope. Nothing of the kind. In, out. You go back to work on the road against two very tough teams, two very tough Western Conference teams in the Chicago Blackhawks and the St. Louis Blues on Friday and Saturday. So this game's important tonight, though, for the Blue Jackets. They keep talking about winning in front of the home fans, winning on home ice. And for some reason, they have just struggled with that and haven't been able to do it all year long. It has been one of the biggest bugaboos of this season for this team, not being able to win here. I don't know what the deal is. They don't know what the deal is. It's just been frustrating for them. And they would like to kind of take some of that frustration out on the Anaheim Ducks tonight. They would like to take some of that ill feeling out of it by getting a home win tonight before heading back out on the road. So that will be the objective this evening, and we'll find out in just a couple of hours if they are able to do that. We hope that you come out and join us tonight. Gates open at 6 o'clock. If you can't be here, I've got the call of the game for you on the Blue Jackets Radio Network. Jody and Jeff Rimmer have it on Fox Sports Ohio. Final season meeting between the Blue Jackets and the Ducks. The Ducks won the first go-around 4-1. Blue Jackets will try to split this season series here tonight when the puck drops at 7 o'clock. Should be a good game against one of the best teams in the league, and I'll bring it to you later on tonight.